Not going to be a camera. Are we on?
We're on.
We're on.
We're on.
We're on. Welcome back, our Doobie.
Cheers, pal.
Alright.
Yeah.
Doobie's conspiracy of the week.
Well,
Cheers.
let's get stuck in. It's been a while since we've done this, isn't it?
So, what we're talking about, Doobs?
Well, this week I'm pretty concerned about Fukushima Daiichi.
What?
Fukushima.
Fukushima, is that like food call?
Well, no, I mean, we're probably going to end up with food call as a result of Fukushima.
Fukushima. Is it Japanese? Is it Chinese?
Well, it's Japanese, but it's kind of owned by General Electric, who are actually Anglo-American, part of the Anglo-American Empire.
Right.
Those rotters we've been discussing lately.
And what are they doing?
We're talking on pear-shaped, isn't it?
What?
Well, you have the awful tsunami, which, which was caused by dubious means, I think. We all know that, don't we?
Yeah.
And
What, so it weren't real?
Well, it was real. It was plenty real, yeah.
It
It completely smashed that place to pieces.
Right. We think it were orchestrated. Or an accident.
I've got a whiff of
Should I
conspiracy about it. A whiff of conspiracy about
Okay.
it. I mean, obviously I can't prove it.
Right.
Is
there anything ever normal that just happens?
Some things happen, but even if some things just happen,
right.
why have we gone with nuclear power? Really? I mean, can you explain that?
Oh.
Why have we got nuclear plants on beaches the world over? On seismic faults and all the rest of it? When we could have gone with thorium, we went with uranium.
They do build them in some dubious places.
They do, and that's down to maritime law.
Tell me about your food call or whatever.
Okay, Fukushima. We'll be digressing there. Fukushima, yeah.
Right.
It's far, far, far worse than Chernobyl. You remember Chernobyl?
I do.
When we were lads.
When we were lads.
And everyone was shitting a chicken about Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Well, it's 10 times worse than Chernobyl.
Right.
10 times worse. I mean, they were very secretive about the whole Chernobyl event. I mean, it's a long time for us to remember that, but I remember back, they were very secretive. And at the time, the Russian government would, threatening people with death and so forth if they even mentioned it. And it only came to the public limelight via the Swedish Atomic Authority.
Right.
Well, what happened there was some fallout from the Ukraine started jumping down onto their detectors. It set their it was such high levels. It set their alarms off.
Right. And
they thought, "Canal, we've got a leak." Oh dear! So they started running around like headless chickens, and then realised everything was sweet because it's Sweden. Those guys know how to sort business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think Sven-Göran Eriksson.
Sven.
He knows how to sort business, doesn't he? Eh? Yeah. Well, anyway, they're on the ball, and they recognised that it wasn't their actual radiation that was causing this alarm.
Someone else's radiation.
So this is not our radioactive signature, they said.
Right.
And then, of course, the whistle was blown, and the Russians came clean and said, "Hey, look, guys, we've had a bit of an accident. We're sorry and that. Can you give us a hand?" And it eventually got sorted, but not really sorted. I mean, you've got...
just got glowing sheep in Scotland.
Well, and Wales, and the Lake District.
In Wales or glowing...
Well, in Wales also,
Wales.
It's due to the current, you see, that comes down from the Baltic. And we have cesium-137 radiation throughout the Lake District. That's why our lamb and our sheep stocks are so low now, and the wool industry's gone. Every year they have to defro.
So do you have them glow in the dark jumpers? If you wait, well, you turn lights off and they glow.
Yeah, and they keep you extra warm, extra warm.
But you get a bit of gum bleeding.
Yeah. Well, I get that most Saturday nights, so I just will not shut up, will I? But yeah, I mean, every year they have a cull of lambs and they test them and they say, "Look, these are still full of cesium. The level's too high to put it onto the market." So that's just from Chernobyl. Well, Fukushima is, if you can imagine, it's like at least 10 times worse than that.
Right.
But have you heard anything on the BBC about the old Fukushima?
I haven't. I've found that the BBC isn't like the main place to go if you want to hear anything really.
No, not really. You would think they were MI4.
MI?
MI4.
Four?
Military Intelligence Number 4.
Right.
That's who BBC are. Yeah.
MI4.
And then you have MI5.
Right.
And then
So we've
they're
got 1, 2
internal
and 3
filth.
as well.
And then you have MI6, they're external filth.
Yeah.
They're all filth. And we want them off our planet. But anyway,
That's another one. That's another issue.
we'll get round to that eventually.
Right, so...
Oh, the whole Fukushima thing, yeah.
Fukushima.
Well, no one's talking about it, honestly. I mean, when's the last time someone spoke to you about the whole Fukushima thing?
Yeah, no, there's not a Fukushima thing.
Not a Fukushima item in the news.
In the news, none.
No, you think the plant was owned by General Electric. And who owns General Electric, sir?
Who owns General Electric? Should I be asked? Who owns General Electric, sir?
Well, I believe General Electric is partially owned by a great many people, but in its entirety, it's generally owned by Buckingham Palace, it's generally owned by the Church of England, and the other shares are held within the Vatican.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's happening there? You've still not
What's happening is a huge cover-up of by far the worst nuclear disaster mankind's ever known.
Yeah.
The Pacific Ocean, which is responsible for like 30% of the world's protein, fish protein, and so on and so forth, that is dead now. Within 10 years, nothing will survive there. There's actually an island of debris floating towards the American west coast, which is 3 times the size of the UK, and it's just radioactive nastiness.
Yeah.
So, what do you think will happen to the price of fish there once people realise the Pacific is dead?
Might go up a bit.
It'd get more expensive, wouldn't it, pal?
It will.
But you're in the fish and chip business.
I am.
That's going to hurt.
It will hurt.
That's going to hurt.
It will. Especially with 3 eyes. Fish with 3 eyes.
Yeah, I'm going to shift them.
Not good, is it? Unless it's got 3 heads. Well, I don't know. I don't do fish.
3 heads, but you can do fish soup with that.
Fish soup.
Fish soup, but no one's up for the fish soup.
Yeah.
We'll all be up for soup soon now because there'll be a massive shortage of food on the planet Earth. Oh, it's almost as if it was all going pear-shaped. Oh.
So what's your conspiracy? Why is it just that there's a lack of
media coverage? Did you not think so?
Right,
lack of media coverage of the whole Fukushima thing.
It's just like that's the cover up bit. It's just like no talk about it and no.
When you tuned into BBC this evening, did they mention that they were removing deadly spent fuel rods from a leaked plant that were all smashed together like a packet of smashed up fags, and if these fuel rods were to touch, we'd have a China crisis.
Right.
You remember the old China crisis thing?
I don't really.
They used to scare us in the 70s and the 80s with the whole China crisis. Essentially, when you have a reaction that you cannot control anymore, once you have these nuclear fissionable isotopes reacting together, it's like the sun. It just keeps on going. You know what I mean?
See.
Just keeps on going. It gets up every morning, doesn't it? Keeps frying us to death. Keeps on going, yeah. Well, that's
not here, right?
That's a nuclear reaction. That's essentially a China crisis. Is when one of these plants, almost like Fukushima, you might have thought, went super critical, and it can just basically melt a hole right the way through the planet and out through the other side.
Yeah.
It'll get drafty.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe I'll get there quicker.
You better get there quicker. They might put a railway line in there. You still won't be getting to Birmingham any quicker, will you? And why would you want to?
Fair one. 20 minutes quicker.
20 minutes quicker, yeah. It's worth spending all those billions on. I mean, we're all starving. We can't get our teeth fixed. Yeah, let's get to Birmingham 20 minutes quicker.
I do find that's depressing.
That is depressing. That is depressing. But that's all you'll hear in the mainstream news about, this imaginary rail line that'll never get built.
So, what was it? Fukushima?
Fukushima. Fukushima Disaster.
So, what can we find on Tinterweb?
Well, the on Tinterweb is absolutely on fire with information about this whole scenario.
It is. So, is there any specific sites again, or is it just Google that shit?
You might want to Google that shit.
Just Google that
Look
shit.
Look around, and go on YouTube.
Find out what's happening.
Find out what's happening. There's quite a lot of research out there. Quite a lot of people spilling the beans. Quite a lot of nuclear physicists looking at the scene and saying, "Oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was only looking earlier at a satellite sort of construction of how far this radiation leak is going. It's going straight into the ocean, mate. I mean, we're talking tens of millions of gallons of radioactive shoit, feckin' shoit, right? And our bluefin tuna and our whales, and they're all chowing down on this, and then we'll be chowing down on this. Before you know it, you've got 10 corks, and you haven't got much of an IQ. You're just barely living. Obviously, the 10 cocks thing's not bad, but we won't all get 10 cocks. This is what the government, this is what the BBC will tell you. Don't worry. It's like 100 times worse than Chernobyl's, but you know, you'll have 10 cocks. We won't.
Well,
no. I think we're just going to die like bleed out, really. And starve also. There's no chow left, is there? There's no fish.
There's not, well, there won't be.
There's no fish.
There won't be. All sushi bars.
Food. How can you have sushi? It's supposed to be raw. If it's full of radiation, it ain't raw no more.
It's cooked.
It's goddamn cooked, yeah.
Right, well, thank you for that information, Doobie.
Just trying to warn you guys out there, and you know, just take a look.
Have a look on YouTube, Tinterweb,
YouTube,
Google it.
Google, you know, get out there, just start looking around. Just think Fukushima.
Fukushima! Right. Oh, we're back again. Thank you very much, Doobie.
Yeah, sorry, man.